Howdy everybody, Rocket here, and today I want to talk about how I manage my hygiene while hiking the Appalachian Trail. Firstly, I would like to bring up the fact that menstrual cycles aren't just for women. There are women and trans men that are still experiencing menstrual cycles, and it is important to understand that that is something that we might encounter and to be receptive and understanding of everyone that we meet on trail. So let's jump right into this video and talk about how I, 1, peed on trail, 2, manage my hygiene, and 3, handle my pesky friend, the menstrual cycle. The first challenge you're going to experience is you're gonna have to pee on trail. So I met a friend of mine who used a urine funnel, and she loved it because she was able to pee behind a tree standing up just like our male counterparts. There was times where I would see her peeing behind a tree and I was like, how on earth are you doing that? So she showed me a urine funnel. I will go ahead and put a picture of that right here for you to see what it looks like. And you pretty much cup that around your urethra. You're able to urinate down the funnel and move on like nothing ever happened. The way that I peed was the old-fashioned pull down your pants and squat behind a tree. I do think it is very important to understand that when you do pee, sometimes you will have urine that settles on your skin, and a lot of women I came across just did the drip dry method when it came to drying off, or would just pull up their pants and kind of let it air dry. I do want to explain that there are challenges with letting urine sit on your skin. 1, it is very irritating to the flesh, can cause blistering and a rash. If you've ever seen diaper rash, it's somewhat like that. The urine itself is irritating to the skin and causing dermatitis. So my recommendation is, even if you do the squat method, drip dry is not the best method. Use a microfiber towel, or my personal favorite that I will talk about in just a second, to make sure that you are drying off your skin so urine isn't just sitting on your skin and irritating your flesh. So that's where I'm going to cue in the Hula Cloth. This is my Hula Cloth, which is a special edition with Abstract Hikes artwork on it with Elena Osborne as the inspiration. I purchased this a few months ago and have been using it. I absolutely love it. The Hula Cloth has a couple of cool features to it. It has a waterproof front, so that way it keeps your hand dry when you are wiping. On the back is the antimicrobial microfiber part to the towel that you use to wipe yourself clean. It is very easy to wash. It also clips onto your pack so it can air dry relatively quickly. And then my favorite feature is this clip to keep the wiping part of the cloth closed off so it's not rubbing on your dirty pack or getting dirt on it or anything like that. So that way it keeps it nice and clean and hygienic for you to use. It is also super easy to wash. You just wash it with a little bit of Castile soap or non-perfumed soap and water, wipe it together, and it's clean and good to go. I love this thing. It's super lightweight. I was using a microfiber towel on the Appalachian Trail last year, and that was totally fine. However, it was larger and it would get wet with rain, so there was times where I'm using it where it's soaked with rainwater and not really effective. So this is great because it can close off and stay dry, keep it hygienic, and also a cool design, and supporting local artists like Abstract Hikes, who I absolutely love. So going pee on trail, pretty cut and dry. I'd like to hit home, make sure you are drying yourself off so that way the urine isn't sitting on your skin and causing possible irritation. If you decide to use a baby wipe or a wilderness wipe to clean yourself after urinating, please just remember that those are not biodegradable like toilet paper, and to pack those out with you every time you use them. Which is going to bring me to my next point on trail of how to stay clean, and that is baby wipe baths. I did that every single night when I was on trail. I never missed a day because for me, it just made me getting into my nice soft sleeping bag that much better. When I wasn't crusty, covered in salt, dirt, and grime, I would always just pull out a few baby wipes or wilderness wipes and clean myself off. So these are the ones that I'm currently using. These are the Huggies Natural Care Sensitive Skin Baby Wipes. They are non-perfumed, meaning that they will not cause irritation, UTIs, or yeast infections because of the perfume in the cloth. I think if you're willing to use this on an infant and a child, it should be something that you're willing to substitute a bath for until you can get to a shower. We know that showers are far and few between while hiking out in the backcountry or on long distance trails. I would get into my tent for the night. I would clean my face, my armpits, and my genital area. I was able to make sure that I was getting myself nice and clean after all those times of peeing, maybe going to the bathroom on trail. You're not really able to shower. So this was really important to help keep myself clean, preventing those UTIs, yeast infections, and other dermatitis and other things and irritations that can happen when on trail. So I think these are super helpful. I used the wilderness wipes from Sea to Summit for a while, but as we know, on trail there's not always an outfitter. Sometimes there's just a Dollar General or a general grocery store, and it is important to find an alternative. So baby wipes for me are a cheap, useful, and great alternative to not only use when you're getting in your tent for the night, but also you can use them for going to the bathroom. Like I said, remember to always pack them out, for they are not biodegradable. Even the Cottonelle bath wipes, the flushable wipes that you use at home, those are also non-biodegradable, or it takes a long time for them to break down. So I would always recommend packing out everything, including toilet paper. If not, if you're gonna bury your toilet paper, just make sure you're using the 6-inch cat hole rule, where you're digging deep, covering everything with a lot of soil, just to make sure that wild animals in nature aren't digging that up and disrupting the natural beauty of the forest. So that's how we pee, that's how I stayed clean. Next, we're gonna talk about our beloved friend, the menstrual cycle, and how I combated that while hiking the Appalachian Trail. While I was researching periods and backpacking, I stumbled across the Menstrual Cup, and I will insert that here. I did use the Menstrual Cup before setting out on trail. I thought maybe if I can figure out how to use this thing, I will be able to use it easily on trail. So right before I left for trail, I decided against the Menstrual Cup, and here's why. Because when you use a menstrual cup, yes, it is reusable, it is great, it is silicone, it is non-hypoallergenic, and you are able to reuse it over and over again. It's lightweight. However, the way that you retrieve the menstrual cup is by using your fingers to release the suction of the cup and retrieve it from yourself. So there were some issues with that. One being that my hands were dirty at all times on trail. Even though I was using hand sanitizer and rinsing them in water sources, there was still bacteria, dirt under my nails, and I just felt that it was non-hygienic to use my fingers to retrieve a cup and introducing funky bacteria that can cause some issues, challenges, and infections while backpacking. Also, the menstrual cup needs to be boiled after it's used, meaning that I would have to put that in my pot that I cooked my dinner in. Now, that's totally fine if that's something you're interested in, but I didn't think that that was a great alternative to cleaning my menstrual cup. So I just decided that I was just gonna go with regular old tampons and pads, and it actually worked out pretty well for me. And we'll talk about, how I did that. So luckily for me, I was on birth control and I was able to figure out when I would be getting my periods, which made it that much easier to know when I should probably pack out the supplies that I would be needing. I always did pack out a few extra, just in case anyone needed anything or I had breakthrough bleeding, because we know that that can happen. So what I did was packed out my tampons, packed out an extra Ziploc bag or two, and used my tampons just like I would in the non-hiking world. So I would, make sure my hands were nice and clean when I was changing my products out. And the way that I stored my used products was in a Ziploc bag. A lot of people I encountered would use duct tape around the bag so no one could see through it, just because they didn't want to gross anyone out with their dirty tampons just being in a Ziploc bag. I personally, as a nurse, think we should normalize talking about all of the things that our human bodies do. So I just put mine in a regular old Ziploc bag, and I would just keep it in my trash bag with my food and throw it away when I got to town, just like you would with any other trash. I did make sure that I always packed out my tampons, always packed out my sanitary napkins. I never, ever, ever put them in a cat hole because they do not belong there. And I always made sure that I didn't put them in privies. I packed out all parts of the waste, the applicator, the paper, the wrappers, everything. I made sure that I left no trace when it came to tampons and sanitary napkins. That is very important to stress because tampons don't break down in privies, they don't break down in cat holes, and therefore they're just gonna sit there forever, and that's something that we definitely don't want. Another alternative that I thought was a great little trick of the trade was I packed out a lot of family size like M&Ms or resealable bags with treats. So I was able to just put my used products in there and no one knew anything different. Just make sure not to share your tampons as M&Ms with your friends. And I want to thank the Trek so much for having me back on their channel and talking about something that is important to address, because periods do affect almost everybody in one way or another. And I think it's important to talk about that and not make it a taboo subject. So once again, my name is Rocket. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you'd like to follow my adventures, I will link my YouTube channel here below. And thank you guys again for tuning in. And for now, this is Rocket signing off.